So the Chiefs just got even better at the right time, and we're going to talk about it. Good morning, Chiefs Kingdom. Welcome in to All Chiefed Up. Hope you guys are doing good today. Before we get started, Mike, let them know who's powering this live stream.
This episode is powered by BetUS. Check out what they have going on right now. Use the code YouTube150 at betus.com and get a 150% deposit match bonus on your first deposit. Then on the next two, you're going to get 125% deposit match bonuses. Those are up to $2,000, so take advantage of all those free plays that you're going to get from those deposit matches. The site's easy to use. There's plenty of props on there. Go to betus.com. Use promo code YouTube150. Let them know All Chiefed Up sent you their way. Steve, let's jump right into it today. Let's jump right in. The Chiefs got even better at the right time.
Yeah.
So I asked myself, how'd they get better? How'd they get better? This tracks all the way back, and it's common knowledge, but it tracked all the way back to Andy Reid and the Chiefs finally getting a little bit healthy. When Hollywood Brown come back, we seen a little bit of a spark. And then what put that spark into a flame, Steve? That was finally the decision to get a left tackle. And although it was a left guard moving to left tackle,
right.
Joe Thuney has provided a beautiful comfort level for Patrick Mahomes. And along with Hollywood Brown and the rest of the team seemingly getting a little bit healthier, they got better at the right time. And it's been brilliant to watch ever since maybe, the first game we played? Well, I guess it was the Cleveland Browns or the Texans, right? A month ago.
Right. Well, that's the thing about it. The Chiefs were already a good team, even with all the injuries and everything going on. So a lot of people were talking about how the Chiefs were frauds, this and that, and they weren't that good, but they'd only lost one game the entire season.
To Buffalo. Revenge.
Right. And I think they do that on purpose now. I'm convinced that they lose to Buffalo during the regular season just to give them a little bit of hope, and then just put them out every
they want to crush their souls.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. But no, the Chiefs were already a good team, and they finally, as Travis Kelce quoted on New Heights, they figured out the puzzle piece that they needed on the offensive line, which was just sliding over Joe Thuney to left tackle and putting Mike Caliendo in there.
The two guys we had originally, Suamataia, and even Wanye Morris to a certain degree, Steve, they just were not ready this year. I think the Chiefs just let them go in, and everybody just bit off a little more than they could chew. And they were, speaking of chewing, they were getting chewed up and spit out. And Joe Thuney provided that stability, and I totally understand it. You're losing a left guard, Pro Bowl quality left guard, and you're moving them out of position. And you can look at PFF scores. You can look at whatever you want. His scores are not as high at left tackle as they are at left guard. It's obvious to watch. He's not a complete left tackle, but he's played it throughout his career. He played it in college. He's played it at certain times in the NFL. And you can see that he is the best option. Now, we did go get DJ Humphrey, Steve, and that sparked a lot of happiness in Chiefs Kingdom. But this kid was sitting on his couch, coming back from an injury.
Right.
And then his first game back, he gets 3/4 of the way through, hurts his hammy. Then there's this weird narrative going into the playoffs that he's ready to go. Let's go. The running game's this, the running game's that. Andy Reid chose to stay with the stability because you didn't want to go to the postseason. You didn't want to have the what if factor of, well, it's easy. If you're just struggling, just slide Thuney back out. Yeah, but at the same time, that's messing with game plan, and that's messing. Yeah, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do it. So I think the Chiefs have done right. I guess this leads me to the question that I feel like this whole entire stream is going to be about today in a way. Has Joe Thuney essentially, if the Chiefs win, even if the Chiefs don't win the Super Bowl, which I don't think is a possibility, I think we're going to beat the Eagles. I really do. I think Jalen Hurts is going to have the best game of his career if they beat us. I really do. I don't think Saquon Barkley is going to be that big of a problem. But if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, does Joe Thuney become the team MVP this year for what he was able to provide?
I don't know if you can take it that far. I don't know if it'll be recognized, but I would say that was one of the most significant moves. I think that those two moves right there, because we saw some guys start coming back later in the season, like Isaiah Pacheco, Charles Omenihu, and this was every time it was like, hey, we're getting this piece back, and maybe this is it. The ones that really sealed it up was moving Joe Tooney out to left tackle, and Hollywood Brown coming back. That turned this offense from that stagnant, kind of like dreadful to watch offense into the Chiefs offense. And now it's fun to watch.
Hollywood has almost opened things up on the offense more than even Xavier Worthy's presence out there, than even he's allowed Juju to now step into a role. He's done more when he got in than D-Hop was able to do. Because, like I said, it's the position he plays and the Andy Reid style offense. Hollywood Brown was perfect. He was perfect. And I know he's not being used like overly used. They're still going to Worthy more and things like that. But look at the increase in Worthy and how he's being used and the more effectiveness. Like, you're just not using him to take deep shots. I wish they would take a few more deep shots to Worthy. I guess teams are playing over the top a lot better. But you're now starting to see the offense get back to more of a Chiefs-esque style offense where you're getting rid of the ball quick. You're getting it to Hollywood Brown. When they're shutting that off, you're giving it to Worthy quick. Kelsey is just getting double and triple teamed, and he's just old enough that he's just not getting – he's just not being able to be as effective, but he's still being effective.
DeAndre Hopkins is effectively a big decoy as well. He's kind of right there with Kelsey because he's not getting that many snaps still.
I think D-Hop, Steve, is just the product of what we've always said. He's the Justin Ross. He's the Kelvin Benjamin. He's the pot-smoking Josh Gordon. He's everything that we've always wanted was that big
he's so
body
much
wide
more
receiver,
than that.
and they never get to – yes, but essentially he's that role in this offense, and that big X-wide receiver role does not produce in an Andy Reid offense.
No, but you can't ignore him. That's the difference between him and all the other ones. Because if you ignore DeAndre Hopkins, you're screwed.
Yeah, you can ignore Justin Ross's and all them, and that's why they really can't. I mean, they're not really winning one-on-one matchups like D-Hop would.
Right. So the biggest part of this, Mike, is Joe Tooney sliding over to left tackle. And the reason I say that is Patrick Mahomes finally found his comfort. Because all season long, Patrick Mahomes looked a tick off. Something's wrong with Mahomes. He's not playing that great this year. He's making poor decisions. He's holding on to the ball too long, this and that. Not many different narratives. Oh, well, the offensive line can't block for him. That was what everyone kept trying to say. But I think what it is he just didn't have a comfort level. Like he was seeing ghosts sometimes. He was hearing footsteps that maybe weren't even there.
Because of the offensive line not being able to block.
Right. So I think Joe Tooney gave him that, and he was able to settle in and start playing more like Patrick Mahomes. And then, like you mentioned, Hollywood Brown opening things up in the offense. To me, he just kind of came in and he's kind of taken over the role that Rashee Rice had. It's not to the extent they're not peppering him the ball like they were Rashee Rice, but every once in a while you'll see him running those quick slants and things like that. That Rashee Rice was running, and I think that makes all the difference because now it kind of opens up everybody else because we already talked about how DeAndre Hopkins and Kelsey, sometimes they just get double teamed so much they're just decoys out there, right? And you saw that in the matchup with Buffalo, and guess who benefited from that? Xavier Worthy had his best game as a pro in the AFC Championship game. So
doesn't it feel like out of every bit of this, looking back at this entire season and looking at how the offense was moving in the first few games, I mean, it wasn't like super, super dynamic, but it looked pretty good considering you didn't even have Hollywood Brown right off the rip. Like, he gets injured down in a Duval. Like, what? That was cringe. Okay. I'm glad we dodged a bullet with Liam Cohen, Steve. You might like him as a football coach, but that dude is a cringe. Okay.
But you don't have to worry. You don't have to see the offensive coordinator too much. So.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, we didn't have Hollywood Brown, so that kind of put a chink in the entire armor there. Of just what we wanted to accomplish. There was something missing right off the rip. But I think it gets overlooked how much of a role and a key piece that Rashee Rice was to this offense.
Oh, yeah.
And how we literally, the offense, when Rashee Rice went down in week 4, there early in week 4, we really struggled to find an identity. We had to adjust everything. We went to a running team. We went to a 12 and 13 personnel heavy team for weeks. We went to Juju for a week. We'd go to Justin Watson. At least we tried. We would try everything. But I really believe that Rashee Rice has been the biggest miss for us this year, if you want to say as in an injury. And I rank that above Hollywood even because when Hollywood was out, Rashee Rice was still carrying the offense. He was one of the leading wide receivers through 3 weeks of football.
Right.
And then that literally caused the entire thing to just go downhill. But getting Hollywood back did help. But yeah, I believe this year, and that kind of proved the entire scenario of if Rashee Rice was to come back next year and they really hand down a suspension, he misses a big portion of time, the Chiefs got to like really consider that in the offseason, because you got a test run this year without Rashee Rice, and it was struggle bus at times.
Right.
So we've got to still figure out something to do in this wide receiver room. Like, are they going to keep? Who are they keeping? Who are they letting go? And honestly, I think there might be more dynamic guys out there than some of the guys we have. We can talk about that a little bit more later, but
there's a big game before all that, Mike.
There's a huge game. and I want to talk about that a lot today.
There's this little thing called the Super Bowl, and kind of just the point of talking about when the Chiefs kind of turned the corner this year. Last year, you had your Raiders game at Christmas when they got their ass beat by the Raiders.
Yeah.
And ruined everybody's Christmas day. This year, it was more not taking a loss, but just kind of figuring things out on offense. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that's what put the Chiefs on the right track. And what do the Chiefs got to do as an offense to score on this really good Eagles defense? That's something that we could talk about for sure. Let's get to the chat. You guys put your questions in the chat and everything. We'll kind of let you guys drive this one today. And real quick before we do get to the chat, just want to shout out everybody for being here. Appreciate you. Please do us a favor. Hit that like button. It just takes a second. It's free. And it'll help get more people in here, more eyes on the show. And we'd appreciate that. Also, if you're watching on X or Facebook, you can share that out to your followers, your friends, family. Get some more people on the All Chiefed Up train, baby. Mike, speaking of trains, I think I hear one coming around the corner, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, that's what that is.
There
Mike,
it is. I hear it.
Yeah, Chiefer starting us off with the 5 gifted memberships. Let's go, Chiefer.
Chiefer gets
appreciate you, buddy. Round of applause for Chiefer, everybody.
Started off strong like that.
Chiefer's a legend. Put some legendaries in the chat for him. If you got one of those memberships earlier when he put those out, make sure to thank him in the chat. Appreciate you, Chiefer. Thanks for the support. Thanks for modding it up all the time, doing your thing. We appreciate you. Mike, we got a couple of big donos right now.
What's happening? Ooh. We got some donuts going.
Slow but sure with a 50 bomb. Let's go. He says, let's freaking go, Chiefs Kingdom. Get the party started, guys. Y'all better be horned up. Get horned, ladies and gentlemen.
All the way horned. We determined that Steve was so horned in the last episode, his mic was blaring to the point that mine sounded like it wasn't even on.
Everybody
I couldn't even upload the audio over to our Spotify because of it. It was just too much of a disparity, and I didn't want to blow anybody's car speaker. So if you're wondering why there's not been anything dropped on the podcast, that's the reason.
It was like, is my audio turned up? Everybody's like, oh, is your mic too loud? No,
you were just horned up, and you were just right like this. You're just eating it.
I was horny.
You were
horny.
You were on level 2,000.
Man, hey, do you blame me? Wasn't it a beautiful thing to watch the Chiefs take the Bills down again? Just crush Josh Allen's soul. That poor guy. He's going through it. He's probably still going through it.
Dude, I want to offer slow but sure. Dude, you've been given, and don't think that goes unnoticed. We appreciate that. Even Chiefer. And we got another one coming up here that's a pretty monster one, too. All of you guys that just donated, all 3 of you guys, go ahead and send me an email. I want to send you out something special for you being so kind. And I'll send out some surprise stuff for you guys.
Hell yeah, man.
Look at me. I like to give back.
Speaking of giving, Flapjack with 100 bomb.
Flapjack throwing out a hundo.
Throwing out the nuke.
Is a real one. It's been here a long time. Slow but sure, Chiefer, you 3, you guys have been awesome for us.
Hey, listen here. Y'all put some nukes in the chat for Flapjack, baby. He said, Nick Sirianni can blow it, talking shit in the tunnel after a game. Everybody hates Nick Sirianni. Isn't that guy he's a tool, isn't he?
Dude, he is just the most punchable dude I've ever seen.
Love
you know what we should do? For the next week, every video we got, we should put Nick Sirianni on the cover just to trigger people into clicking it because they hate him so bad they want to click on it and punch him.
Yeah.
I think that's what we should do. Start putting Nick Sirianni on the cover instead of our faces.
Flapjack goes on to say, Philly fans taunting a Washington fan walking to his car, stealing his cap off his head. I saw that.
Yeah, I seen that too.
You know what's funny is I don't think
I could have... couple? I seen a couple getting taunted by a bunch of people with cameras.
It's just a couple of guys. Yeah, I think he had like a yellow beanie on.
Dude, nobody better ever treat anybody like that at Arrowhead. That's just classless and horrible.
That's what I was getting ready to say, though, is like that guy was just like, assessed the situation, just walked away, said, you know what, keep the beanie. It's not worth the trouble. I don't think I could have done that. I would have probably started a
either.
Fight.
But I tell you what, in today's world, you could have got shanked over it.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, I mean, you never know. And to be honest, there's a lot of Philly fans that are good people, but that entire
but a lot of them are trash.
Is known to be
straight trash.
I mean, they've got a freaking prison underneath their stadium to hold the mongrels. So, I don't know, man. To me, it's annoying. Like, you should not. It's football at the end of the day. Like, there's a lot more important things. Like, we take this stuff to heart. I get it, but it's not that important. So, yeah, nobody should act like trash. He said also ban the tush push and QB sneaks. Make them run a play on 4th and 1.
Well, here, that's the thing. I was going to say that. Like, first of all, everybody complains that, the ball spot on one particular 4th down in the Bills and Chiefs game.
Well, you couldn't see anything.
You can't see it. And the reason why you can't see it is because they're trying to play rugby. Okay? I'm sorry, but you should just outright get a first down. I'm with Flapjack. I think they should ban the tush push. And
I don't know anything about rugby, Steve, but if you remember, if the short times you watch it, when they get together in that scrum and they start pushing, nobody has to come in and spot the ball anywhere. They literally just like flip the ball out of the back of the scrum and take off. Right. So look, if you're going to put that in an NFL situation where you have to spot the ball after every single play, something needs to be done about it. And a lot of people are saying, well, put a microchip in the ball. Put this, put that. Okay, let's take all the officials out now and let's go. Baseball tried that, and they won't even do it. Like, you've got an automated strike zone, and the officials still get the calls wrong. The umpires are still missing balls and strikes. You still got Angel Hernandez out there.
As much as it sucks sometimes, I think you still have to have a human element to the game for it to feel authentic.
I think if you do everything by the book, so when it comes down to ball spotting, if you were to take and put a chip in the ball, and every time you have to do what the chip says, kind of like tennis. I get it. Tennis has got this cool thing where it shows the aerial view and the ball. I don't even know if that thing's completely accurate every single time. Like, it'll get down to a microscopic whatever. You're like, you really think?
Technology is not always 100% spot on. Like, things happen.
Yeah, we all thought ChatGPT was great until they released DeepSeek the other day and crashed the stock market. Okay, somebody's always better. You can't keep coming up to that. Like, it's a little bit ridiculous. Like you said, you need a little bit of a human element, because if you get to that, then what do? Do we put sensors on their jerseys or their face masks to see if you get a hand? You know, if it heats up on the face mask, then you had a face mask penalty. If your jersey gets tugged too hard, we know there was a hold. It's getting a little ridiculous. Steve, the Chiefs have the ability to not only melt down everybody's common sense in America, but we're the only team that has the ability to get the rules changed against what we do. Not anytime. We asked for the overtime rule change because of the Tom Brady situation, and you know what? They said no. Brady gets babied. We're not doing it. And then when Josh Allen gets it, the whole world cries. Did a referee come over in the game the other day and tell us that, oh, man, I'm sorry I missed you, and come over and give us a hug on the sideline? No, that happened to Josh Allen, and America ignored it. Yeah. If that was Patrick Mahomes, there would have been so much tears in the street that would have flooded my neighborhood out. I'd have had to move out.
There's so much data to debunk all of it, and everybody's brought it up, and they don't care. They don't want actual facts.
Nobody wants truth and facts, Steve, because everybody in America runs off feelings. If their feelings are hurt and they don't feel like their loser self can get ahead, you pull down others down into your garbage dump you're in.
Right.
You know, nobody wants to put the effort to get out.
Flapjack, thanks for the nuke, my man.
Appreciate it, buddy. You got us raging today, Flap. And for that 100 bomb and a rage, email me.
Email me. Speaking of email us, Chief DeLorean with the 5 gifted memberships. He's been showing out too. Let's go, Chief DeLorean.
Email me, Chief.
Let's do it.
I don't know why I want people to email me. I don't know. I just might want to say thank you in a more personal form.
Y'all better watch out. Oh, wow. What are you going to do, Mike?
I don't know. We got a dick pic we're about to send out.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
But don't think vulgarness. We got Dick Vermeil.
But
we got a little Dick Vermeil autograph picture we're about to send out. I might just pick one of you guys, send it out to you. I might throw you out a little.
So you guys have been supporting the channel so much. We're just gonna send you old dick pic out.
A little DP action, huh?
That's how we thank people around here.
See, we should start an all chiefed up OnlyFans.
With nothing but pictures of Dick Vermeil on it.
Yeah, we'll just put up DPs everywhere. Just Dick Vermeil just hanging out everywhere.
Yeah, I appreciate.
I subscribe to this monthly to get Dick Vermeil.
Appreciate you, Chief DeLorean. If y'all got one of those memberships, make sure to thank him in the chat. Y'all throw some legendaries in the chat for those fellas showing out early this morning. And if you're just coming in, welcome in, welcome in. We talked a little bit about how the Chiefs turned the corner back when they decided to move Joe Tooney over to the left tackle and Hollywood came back. And it kind of fired this offense up and got it on the right track. We talked about that. We're talking more.
And how it's going to translate to the Super Bowl.
Exactly. We're going to talk more about that. But right now, we're going with the chat. But welcome in. Good morning, Chiefs Kingdom. Appreciate you being here. Hit the like button. Hang out with us. Flapjack with the freaking 100 bomb, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to him. We got Flip with a 5 bomb. Says in 23 years, Tom Brady won 7 rings. In 7 years, Mahomes may get his 4th ring. Are y'all on the bandwagon that Mahomes will never beat Tom Brady in Super Bowl rings? And then he gave the little middle finger to Tom Brady, baby. Here's what I think. Here's what I think about it. If Patrick Mahomes can cash in on this 3-peat, if they can take care of business and complete this and make history, I don't care what any Green Bay Packers fan says about teams back in the 60s. This is the first 3-peat in the Super Bowl era. They didn't even have free agency back then. So I don't care about that. It wasn't even the NFL at that point. I don't even know. It doesn't matter. There was 15 teams in the damn league. Like, I don't care about none of that. This would be making history. The first team to 3-peat. Patrick Mahomes passes Tom Brady in the GOAT conversation. End of story. You're talking about a guy in 7 years with 4 rings, and he did 3 in a row. He made history. I'm sorry, Tom Brady. I'll tell you, Mike, and if you really wanted to go break it down, I could break it down on why I don't think Tom Brady's 7 rings is as impressive as it sounds. Because there are like probably 4 instances where if just one little thing had actually been gone the other way, he has 3 rings, not 7. We're talking the tuck rule, okay? We're talking... let's see here. Where could we go? If the Chiefs would have had a starting offensive lineman out there in the Super Bowl against Tampa Bay.
Yeah. But you're playing what if.
We're talking
you could say that too about
if
us.
Marshawn Lynch had ran the ball on the 1 yard line instead of them passing the ball, there goes
that
one.
Would maybe I'll give you. But
okay,
you're still playing some more.
If Shanahan didn't lose a 28-3 freaking lead in the Super Bowl. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, shout out Tom Brady. I mean, he got it done. He got 7 rings. I'm not saying that you could take that away from him, but I'm just saying 4 in 7 years with 3 in a row is more impressive to me and shows this player is better than this one, who got 7 rings in 25 years.
Here's what I'll say. Yeah, he played 23 years.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes is essentially not even hit 33% of Brady's career yet. And if he wins this year, even if he doesn't win this year, he's already got 3. Okay. He could have 4. He could be more than half while only playing 30% of his career. Now, do I think Patrick Mahomes is going to play till he's 42, 43, 44 like Brady did? I don't. I think Pat will get out at a normal age. I don't know if he'll have to hang on. I don't know why Brady was hanging on so long. I guess he felt he could still win, and he's a competitive guy. Something tells me Patrick Mahomes ain't going to play till he's 44.
No.
I could be completely wrong, but even if he does, that's 14 more years.
I don't think that Patrick will have anything left to prove at that point.
Right.
If he can win this one.
Plays 14 more years, Steve, how many Super Bowls? Like, he literally only has to win, 3 more Super Bowls to tie in 14 years?
If he wins
that
this
doesn't
one.
feel like a hard accomplishment.
I think it very much hinges on this one here. If you want to talk about the GOAT conversation,
right?
It
3 trying to get to 7, you're less than half, but you've still got more years. Like, depending on whether or not he wants to play for another 50 years.
Well, Patrick Mahomes is making people he's kind of warping their mentality, perspective, I should say, on how easy it is to get a Super Bowl, because it's not. It's extremely hard to win a Super Bowl and get a ring. Yeah. And Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are just making it look like clockwork, just going to the Super Bowl every year right now. And it's kind of like, I think people got a bad perspective on it. Not only has he broke their brains in general, just because they hate him and they're trying to come up with anything and everything to justify the Chiefs whooping their ass for this long of a period, but he's also kind of warping their perspective on how difficult that is. So I mean, he could, maybe it's a possibility. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it'd be a possibility that Patrick Mahomes never saw another Super Bowl after this one. That very well could happen. So,
well, here's what I think. I think
cash in right there, baby.
If you get the three-peat, that has to put you in the upper echelon. You have to be in the top two. And technically, if you want to go by more rings, yes, Brady got more. But there was also a decade gap where Brady never even went to a Super Bowl. He didn't win a Super Bowl in like a full decade.
Yeah, they kind of had two mini dynasties, right?
Yeah. So here's the thing. If Mahomes wins this Super Bowl, that to me does something no other quarterback's ever done. He now becomes 3-1. Isn't that right? Or 4-5. 4 out of 5 Super Bowls is what he would now have.
Which is great. In 7 years.
Which is insane. I mean, Montana, I think, went 4-0.
Patrick Mahomes doesn't know what it's like to never play in a conference championship game.
It's really wild
it's
what
insane,
he can accomplish.
Bro.
But could you imagine, though, if Patrick Mahomes were to go the next decade without going to a Super Bowl, how critical the media would be of him? But yet, with Tom Brady, he was still...
Well, that's another thing. If they win this one, Mike, and the three-peat... And they already had the other one in 54, so you're looking at 4 Super Bowls in 7 years. This effectively makes the Chiefs a bigger and better dynasty than either one of the Patriots ones.
What did the Patriots do?
They won 3 here, won 3 there.
They didn't win 3 in a row.
No, but I mean, in a short period of time,
it was like a 2-1, 2-1, something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, it does. This would make them the best team to ever step on the football field.
Is it at the end of the day though? Nobody's ever going to have a consensus. Like, you got the NBA now, and there's not a consensus that Jordan's the best. I mean, about 90% of the world would say that, but you've got another, 5-8% that'll say LeBron. You've got probably 2 or 3% that'll say somebody completely different.
That's going up. There's a lot more that'll say LeBron now. And it's kind of the Tom Brady thing, right? Like, LeBron's just had a lot of longevity, and he's been amazing.
Right. So at the end of the day, I mean, it's fun for fan bases to argue, but I don't think it's really important.
No, it's not. But, I mean, if you want to compare it to something, you could call Tom Brady, LeBron James, and Pat Mahomes, Michael Jordan. And it's kind of a similar argument.
GOAT. If the three-peat happens,
even if I think it's like that already. But if he cashes on his three-peat, bro.
Yeah, I guess you're saying that. Like, Tom Brady won, not taking anything away from Tom Brady, but he's got everything because of his longevity.
Yeah, he's been great.
Sense. Whereas
same
Mahomes
with LeBron
has just been greatness and changed the game. He's even changing the style of quarterback that's getting drafted every year.
Yeah,
he opened the door for the Jaden Daniels and stuff because people wouldn't even have took a chance on them.
Right. Mike, we got a lot more chat to get to, and we're going to do that. But first, just want to shout out everybody for being here. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers. We're at about 41,000 now, Mike.
Yeah,
we're a little short.
A little low. It's okay.
A little short, but we need everybody to hit that subscribe button.
It's been a wild year, Steve.
It has been. We're going to take a quick break, and you guys hit that like button if you haven't during the break. Also, we'll be right back with much, much more, so stick around. We appreciate you.
All Chiefed Up is proud to announce that we've teamed up with one of the most recognizable names in crypto and the world, Crypto.com. And today we're featuring an exciting new rollout from Crypto.com called Crypto Sports. With Crypto.com Sports, you're now able to have the opportunity to turn your predictions into profit with their sports event trading, which is now available across the entirety of the United States. They're also offering a $100 payment for each correct event contract that you own. And all you have to do is make a simple yes or no decision, making it a seamless and user-friendly experience. It's currently live on Crypto.com's app and website. With this, Crypto.com has made it simple for you. Just simply click yes or no depending on who you think wins the game. and then you can sit back, relax, and just watch. It's so simple and easy that anyone can do it, and that's why we think Crypto.com hit a home run. If your prediction is correct and the team ultimately wins or loses, you receive a $100 payment for your correct prediction within 1 business day after the event is finished. And now, if you use our link in the description to sign up, you can also receive an additional $10 worth of Crow coin, and you'll get that $10 worth of Crow bonus after you complete your first sports event contract trade. Again, be sure to sign up using the link we've provided for you in the description below, and don't miss out on that additional $10 of Crow that Crypto.com is generously offering. Guys, we appreciate you. Appreciate you sitting through that. Hey, man, check out Crypto.com. Go down to our link, click it. I'm going to get that in there right now. We're going to have that link for you to click. You can trade up to 350 plus crypto tokens. They'll fund your trade instantly. You can trade anytime, anywhere, 24/7. It's trusted, secure. Check out Crypto.com, man.
Do it to it. Why not? Mike, we got another 5-bomb from Chief DeLorean. He says, if Josh Allen ever wants to win a Super Bowl, he should just play backup for Patrick Mahomes. It's his only hope. So a lot of people, there's actually a real discussion amongst sports media right now that Josh Allen needs to go to the NFC because he will never see a Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes. And maybe, just maybe, he could beat Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. They could take a different route.
Well, with the AFC, he will never see a Super Bowl. He can NFC his way out. I don't care. Look, that's crazy. And again, isn't that just a culmination of modern day loser talk?
Right, just trying to find a way, right? It's kind of like the transfer portal. Like,
it's a transfer portal.
You can't win here. You're not good here. Go there.
It was the Miami Heat pulling together a super team and then causing Golden State to do it. And then now you've got
causing the LA Rams and Tampa Bay Buccaneers to do it.
Essentially, the Eagles have kind of done this a little bit over the past few years.
Well, the Eagles
are big
definitely
time free agent players that back in contracts and put all these crazy phantom numbers on it. Like Howie Roseman has learned to do that. And even this year, great defense from the Eagles. Like, okay, look, the Eagles defense, because let's talk about the Super Bowl just a little bit. The Eagles defense is ranked number 1 in football. They're the number 2 overall ranked team. But if you want to go to their team and you want to look at some of the roster and the lineup they play, they do draft pretty decently because they'll draft right out of the Eagles. Yeah. I mean, right out of the Bulldogs, Georgia Bulldogs. Yeah. But look, they paid big money in free agency to corner Darius Slay. They went out and traded, or I don't remember if it was a trade or they got him in some kind of a free agency or whatever, but they went out and got Sweat from the Commanders, the defensive end.
Montez Sweat.
Yeah. They went out and signed C.J. Gardner-Johnson just a few years ago. They went out and traded for A.J. Brown.
Not to mention the biggest one signing,
Saquon
Barkley.
They went and traded for Jahan Dotson before the season. Like, literally, if you look at all the trades and stuff they've done, and don't get me wrong, the Chiefs have done that too. We had to go get our guys out of necessity, though, because we're messing around with IR, and we go out. We didn't pay for AJ Brown in his prime. We tried D-Hop for pennies. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Teams didn't even want to mess with us. Like, somehow the Eagles can always pull these big names and these big money guys in free agency. And then people's like, well, they just want to play for a Super Bowl winner. Somebody that's got a chance. Okay, well, you got a chance there, or you can come over to the Chiefs and you can actually do it.
Right.
And, I mean, if you look at the Chiefs, who've been our big money acquisitions? In-house guys. And then we drafted, and then big money guys have been D-Hop that we traded for, who we got for pennies at the end of his career. Marquise Hollywood Brown, who didn't get anything on the market. He signed here for a bargain price because he really wasn't getting any attention on the market. Then he's been out all season.
Right.
We had to go pick up Kareem Hunt out of necessity. Nobody wanted him. He was on his couch at the end of his career.
And now he's kicking ass.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's two different formulas here at play. And to be honest, the Eagles have kind of been the buy now kind of team, trying to win. I guess it's been the whole Jalen Hurts thing. Like, they had a rookie on a cheap contract, but technically Jalen Hurts making a lot of money now, isn't he?
Yeah, and I don't know. We'll see how that works out for him. But appreciate the 5, Chief DeLorean. I think Josh Allen, it's going to be in Buffalo. I mean, they already paid him a shit ton of money, and he's not going
Buffalo.
anywhere.
I don't think he's as big of a puss as everybody else is that just trying to run from greatness. Like, you either be the man, you got to beat the man. Who said it? Ric Flair, baby. Woo, well, styling and profile.
Josh Allen said it himself in the postgame, and man, that was tough to watch. I love making fun of Josh Allen. I love talking trash to the Bills, but
you got to feel bad for him a little
that
bit.
was tough to watch, man.
Like, the dude plays pretty good football. Like,
you could tell, man, he's a competitor and he wants it bad, and he just can't get it done. Mahomes just
to be honest, it's not
the
even
bane
really
of his existence.
Fault. Like, could he have the Bills got absolutely trounced on that final play? Like, Spags made their OC look dumb. Like, they did not expect that. And somehow Josh Allen was able to just chuck it up, but he still found the right guy.
I happen to think
if you want to take out the swing route.
I'm on the opposite side of that fence. I think that was Josh Allen's fault.
What do you think he should have audibled something? Like,
absolutely. I think that he should have changed. They should have been able to pick up that blitz.
But you don't think that the Chiefs, like, you're not going to give any credit to the
Chiefs?
No,
I'm giving all the credit to Chiefs.
Very well, because when I watched it, I did not expect two corners to be coming off the right side.
I get it, but I feel like if he could have made the adjustment pre-snap to where that wouldn't have been a press play, and then he could have hit Dalton Kincaid with an easy pass there.
You could have hit. I think it was Khalil Shakur coming
right.
around.
So, I mean, I'm not saying everything's Josh Allen's fault. Don't get me wrong. The whole entire loss is not his fault. But I do think on that one play, it come down to I don't think a Tom Brady would have missed that. You know what I'm saying?
You don't think they did a good enough job? I thought McDuffie did a hell of a job disguising that blitz.
They did, but I'm just saying.
So,
I think that's.
So if
is that not what separates?
How does he know what's coming?
Isn't that what separates, the good from the great, right?
But how do you audible out and switch your protection if you don't know they're coming? Like, that's the brilliant part of this. That was something we have not shown.
You got to be ahead of the game. You have to know they're coming.
So you intuitively think.
I think there were signs. Go back and watch the play. I think there were signs there. Appreciate the 5, Chief DeLorean. Well, yeah, absolutely. I will too. Sam Lofton with the 5 bomb says if you want to ban the tush push, have the Chiefs start using it. They'll ban it right away, 100%. But we will never do that crap because we're not that much of a loser franchise. I mean, it's just the most boring thing.
Should you maybe put Kelsey under center and start doing it? Kelsey was a
just
high school quarterback.
Over again.
He's used to holding the ball. Noah Gray probably at some point in his career probably played a skill position like a quarterback.
Man, it's just so,
he plays
so
a skill
stupid.
position now, but still.
I mean, honestly, like, I get it. Oh, if you can't stop it, then whatever. I get that mentality, but at the same time, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like it takes away from the game somewhat.
Here's what you do. You find your biggest offensive lineman or defensive lineman that's played a skill position when they were young. One of those guys had to have played
or just somebody athletic, like a Colin Saunders.
Or a running back or something when they were younger. You find them, you put them under center, and now you've got a 400-pound guy. And you just kill it. But look, I don't think we would work because I love Creed Humphrey to death, but Creed Humphrey doesn't do a great job at opening up holes on the offensive line.
Well, I mean, if you're doing the tush
he does
push,
his job,
if you're doing the tush
I don't
push,
think he's a tush push kind of
what
guy.
you do is essentially you cheat a little bit, you move the ball up a little bit from the spot. You
really
snap,
quick.
You fall forward.
How many times did the Bills
you just gotta get low
on a tush push? They had guards and tackles going before the snap every play on that.
Yeah.
And not a single cry from the media. Collinsworth didn't interrupt the broadcast and come in and kick Romo out of the booth and cry about it and circle it. Okay, there was plenty of that all day. I want to say there was probably 4 or 5 of those.
They stopped that play all day long consistently, and it was a beautiful thing to watch. Like, I really think that was the difference of the game was the Chiefs figured out how to stop their little short yardage crap. And
they're going to have to do it again.
I think the Eagles execute it much better than Buffalo. So, yeah, it's definitely something we're going to see. Absolutely. Casey Lion Squad with a 2 says Pat and Tom, 1A and 1B. Everyone else is fighting for number 2. Joe Montana's still got to be number 2, right? I mean, there's no one there with him. So, I think you're right, Casey Lion Squad. They're kind of in a league of their own. And right now, Pat's in a league of his own. If you look at the stats to this point in his career and you look at Tom Brady's, he beats him in every category. So, I mean, Pat's just on another level. Got J-Pap in here with a 5 bomb. Says Tom Brady has 18 touchdowns and 14 interceptions in 13 AFC championship games. Mahomes has 16 touchdowns and 2 picks and 7. Just saying. Yeah, I mean, to this point, like I was just saying, Patrick Mahomes has performed at a higher level than Tom Brady did in his first 7 seasons as a starter. I mean, so if Pat can keep the trend going and he could keep, I mean, there's no doubt he's going to be the GOAT. Because, I mean, he's just on a different level. And, Mike, you know, Tom Brady set a lot of records that will potentially never be beat. Like just passing yardage. You talked about this earlier this year, but Mahomes would literally have to have, like, career games for the rest of his life for, 15 more seasons to even kind of touch that. And it's kind of the same way like I was talking about with LeBron James. He's a leading scorer ever in the NBA now. It's all come from longevity and just being really good, if not great, for a long, long period of time. So, I mean, Tom Brady's always going to have his thumbprint on football, but that doesn't mean he's going to be the greatest quarterback to ever play because Patrick Mahomes is coming in hot.
Right.
So.
Mahomes' career, he's only had 4 seasons out of his 8, but he didn't really play in 2017. So 4 out of 7. He's somewhere right at about, you could probably say about 50-50, that he's going to hit 4,500 yards. He would have to hit 4,500 yards passing every season now till he played till he was 44 years old.
Right.
To pass Tom Brady. That is how crazy that stat is from Tom Brady on that
pretty
yardage
wild.
number. It's wild. So, like, I give Brady tons of credit because some of that is not going to be able to be touched.
Right. Javier Sanchez with the 5 bomb says, "When will Spags send that wild blitz this time?" That's the thing, man. When the Chiefs have to make a play, when the defense has to make a play, when their backs are against the wall, Spags is going to bring the pressure. That's one thing you got to love about Spags, and it's also a double-edged sword because people know it's coming. So if you don't execute and you don't do what you're supposed to do, they'll find a way to convert, right? So, I mean, it's just live by the sword, die by the sword kind of thing, right? People know it's coming. Spag's going to send the pressure. Just figure out where it's coming from and stop it. That's the hard part. So I'm sure we'll see a good defensive scheme, a lot of cool packages, blitz packages and stuff in the Super Bowl too. And Spags is kind of just like Andy Reid is with the offense, like it's always something new. It's always something new. It's like they come up with stuff at the drop of a hat, Mike. It's like they'll just wake up one day and they're like, what'd be cool this week? It's awesome.
I'm glad you brought that up because there's this is always a battle. Does Andy Reid hold stuff back? Does he do it? Does he do it? We're on the fence that winning is hard in this league, and I don't feel like you can go out and half-ass a season.
No.
Like, I think if you try to say that the Chiefs don't try all season, that you're kind of demeaning the product. I mean, come on. Like, you have to try.
Now, you could say they're not pulling out all the stops. They're not going crazy.
That's kind of where I wanted to say. Like, I think when you say Andy Reid holds stuff back, I think you're actually discrediting Andy Reid. I don't think at the beginning of the season
he has all these plays.
20 or 50 plays that he'll just pull out on anybody. I think that what you realize is when Andy Reid gets in a do-or-die situation in a single week to prepare for a team in the playoffs, whether he's seen them or not before,
man.
He knows how to cook up some stuff. And it's not like it's just been sitting there in the playbook and they just choose not to run it. Like, I honestly think he could come up with it on the fly, and that makes Andy Reid more of a genius, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's holding it back.
That is Andy Reid in a
creating
nutshell.
it.
Exactly. 100%. That's exactly what it is.
And I wish people would kind of, like, get more to that mentality with
give
it
the man
rather than
credit.
saying that they're holding it back, because I feel like you're not giving Andy credit. Anybody could have some trick plays that you could just pull out at any time, but I think Andy's actually creating these on a week-to-week basis.
Of course, they're tailored to that team. They're literally
to the game. That's why you've seen it. It's not that they held it back versus the Panthers. You just didn't need to run Patrick Mahomes like that versus the Panthers.
100%. Flapjack with the 5 bomb says Allen's body won't hold up the way they use him. He's got about 4 years left. That is a thing. I think that Allen, he takes a beating. He really does. He's a big guy, great athlete, but I mean, there is another guy that kind of has defied those odds, and that's Derrick Henry, because he got beat to death for years and he's still just going. But I mean, that's the thing, especially with these quarterbacks that run a lot, like Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. I think that is something to consider. Flapjack. So definitely a good point there. They take more hits than anybody, and it'll catch up with them probably. Peter Ortiz been a member for 3 months now. What's up, Peter? Peter's a legend, everybody. Give him a round of applause in the chat. He says, well, I feel bad for Allen. He is an MVP finalist. He ran into the blitz. He was spooked at the end. I will say this. That last drive, when they had a chance to tie the game up or go win it, Josh Allen was terrified. He was not up for that.
Something looked weird, didn't it? It looked like
if you just go back and watch it, look at his eyes, man. He was absolutely terrified. I think it was just a lot of pressure built up. We talked about that all week going up to that game. Who's the pressure on here? It's definitely on Buffalo. It's on Josh Allen. It's not on the Chiefs. Yeah, the Chiefs are trying to make history and win 3 Super Bowls in a row, and they're in their house, and they're the number 1 seed, but all the pressure is on Josh Allen because he's literally his whole career just not been able to beat Patrick Mahomes in the big game. And I think he found himself in that situation once again, and it was too much. He looked gutted and beat before they even ran that last drive. I'll just say that, and I think that's what Peter's talking about. Mike, shout out Justin Flanders with the gifted membership. Let's go, Justin. Appreciate you, buddy. If you got that membership, make sure to thank him in the chat.
Hey, was it Flapjack that was talking about Josh Allen's body not holding up?
Yeah.
So I wanted to find something. So you've got who's a big quarterback that kind of reminds you of him that played in history?
Ben Roethlisberger.
Exactly.
But he wasn't as mobile.
Right. That's my thing. He wasn't as mobile. But, I mean, come on. In the era of the tush push, he probably should have been used that way. But just to say, he played 18 seasons and ran the ball 515 times. In comparison, Josh Allen has played 7 seasons, and he's already ran the ball 759 times.
Right.
So he's played less than half of Roethlisberger's seasons, and he's almost ran the ball at a double pace. He's got 250 to 300 more rushing attempts than Roethlisberger, which is just wild. Like, you're just, in my opinion, you're going to, like Flapjack said, I think you're going to shorten his career with a beatdown. Like, he's literally taking the hits of a quarterback and a running back.
I think that you'll see his game evolve.
It's going to have to evolve here soon.
He's going to have to start staying in the pocket more.
Honestly, I believe his game, like this year, a lot of those, he's getting out of pocket out of necessity a lot, and he was taking a lot of like goal line like runs and things.
Yeah.
But honestly, I believe at the beginning of the season, Josh Allen did look like a better quarterback. Like, he was finally reading defenses better. He was doing stuff better, and I think that's why he had a good season this year. So if he keeps going in that form, I do believe he will be a heck of a pocket passing quarterback, and I do believe his legs will diminish until it's time that he actually needs them.
Right. Mike, we got an old friend in the house here. Chris Wright, the legend himself. Been a member for 18 months. Baby. So just got here, fam. Let's freaking go. Let's go, Chris Wright. What about it, baby? Chiefs about to make some history. Let's go. Peter Ortiz with the 5 bomb says, Shannon Sharp says, Allen, Jackson, and Burrow fear Patrick. They absolutely do right now. Patrick is in their heads, rent-free. Like, at this point, he's proven that these guys can't beat him. Burrow beat him one time, and everybody wants to go back to that, when really all that was an absolute implosion by the Chiefs.
Yeah, that was a meltdown.
It was nothing to do with Joe Burrow.
I mean, if you do look back on it, Patrick Mahomes really played probably one of the worst halves of football he's ever played.
That's what I'm saying, man. It took a meltdown for Joe Burrow to beat him that one time, and then what did they do? They go to the Super Bowl and get their ass beat. So, I mean, it's like, these guys do. I think they're at the point, especially Allen Jackson, Chattahoochee there. Those two, they absolutely just think they can't beat this guy. So, I mean, I'm right there with you, Peter. I think they do fear him somewhat. And you saw it in Josh Allen's eyes at the end of that game. I'm telling you, he's just so tired of it and sick of it. I think he was already gutted before they ran the last drive. So, is what it is. It's what happens. People fear greatness, Mike. That legend Chris Wright with 5 gifted memberships. Let's go, baby. Appreciate you, Chris. If y'all get one of those memberships, make sure to thank him in the chat. Throw some legendaries in the chat for all these guys doing the Lord's work. Mike JCP in the house says, how about Nico, baby? How about Nico? He don't get talked about enough what he was able to do, because there's so much other stuff to talk about. We forget about our special teams. Nico was out there kicking ass, and he held onto the ball the entire game. What about it?
Yeah, I thought Nico looked good. I think Nico going forward kind of has etched out a little role in this team going forward, and it may lead to him getting some more opportunities in the receiving room next year.
I think so. He's definitely found his spot, and we knew that from the get-go when we watched his college tape. He was electric in kick returns. That was kind of a thing for him. Like, he's just got the field vision and all that stuff. So I think that's definitely a future for him. And Mike, let's take a quick break real quick. We gotta get one more shout out in, and we're gonna get right back to the chat, guys. So give us just a minute. Stick around. We'll be right back with a lot more to talk about. And yeah, stay here.
Today's show is sponsored by Manta Sleep Mask. You got to check this out. This sleep mask is going to change your life. We all know how important sleep is for recovery. And if you want to be at your best physically and mentally, you got to get some sleep. And not just any sleep. You got to get some high quality sleep. We weren't big believers in sleep masks. I thought they were going to be too big, too hot, too bulky. But Manta Sleep Mask changed that perception for me. These sleep masks are so comfortable. You can change the cup around your eye and find a custom fit. That way the mask finds your comfortability. With these pillows around your eyes, you feel zero pressure. And with a 100% blackout technology, you can go to sleep anytime, day or night, no matter how erratic your sleep schedule is. These masks are designed for side sleepers as well, and that is very important. There are so many options that Manta Sleep offers too. One of our favorites is the Manta Sleep Mask Sound. It comes equipped with a razor-thin Bluetooth headphone, again, optimized for side sleepers. The headphones are super easy to adjust, and it just becomes a heavenly submersive experience that blocks out the world and allows you to get some high-quality sleep. You can go with the Sound Mask, the Pro Mask, the Silk Mask, or just the Sleep Mask. You should go check out their website by clicking the link we have provided for you in the description below and read up on which option sounds best for you. But regardless of which mask you choose, use our code ACU10 at checkout and receive a 10% discount that we have secured through Manta Sleep for you, Chiefs Kingdom. We understand how tiring it is defending the back-to-back world champions. We also know there are countless non-football knowers out there talking trash to the Chiefs 24/7, and with these, you can block them out and get rested up for the coveted three-peat. Again, go to the description, find the link, find the mask you want to try out, use code ACU10, and get yourself some of the best sleep you've ever had in preparation of this long football season. Where am I? This is true blackout technology, people.
Let's go, baby. Get down in that description and hit that link. Check out Manta Sleep. Mike, I hear that train coming again.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go. We got another legend in the house, Steve-O, with 5 gifted memberships. Let's freaking go, baby. Let's go, guys. Appreciate you all showing out, growing the ACU crew. If y'all get those, make sure to thank him in the chat. Throw some legendaries in the chat for all these guys showing out. Peter Ortiz with the 5 bombs says the defensive coordinator for the Eagles has never beaten Pat or Andy. So Vic Fangio's never beaten Pat or Andy. That's pretty wild. I probably wouldn't have thought that. That's a pretty cool little nugget of information there, Peter. Very good, prolific defensive coordinator. A lot of people wanted Vic Fangio in here when we got Spags. I remember a lot of people talking about that. So that's a cool little piece of information. Hopefully we can continue the trend of beating his ass. Okay, so we can take care of business in the Super Bowl. Mike, we got 5 from Flapjack. He says Mahomes shattered Allen so bad he dropped out of the Pro Bowl. If you're Spags, what's your Super Bowl game plan? Yeah, what Drake May? Drake May is a Pro Bowler in his rookie season.
That's wild too.
It is pretty wild. Super Bowl game plan. So I think the obvious thing against the Eagles is you can't let Saquon absolutely stomp you. He will stomp a mud hole in your ass if you let him. And you have to. You're not going to completely stop Saquon Barkley. That offensive line is very good, and he is a freak athlete. So what is it? You can only hope to contain him. And that's exactly what they got to do. They got to make sure he's not chunking off 70-yard touchdowns. So do what you got to do there. Make sure that we're not letting up the big play. And other than that, I think if you can do basically what you wanted to do with Josh Allen, which we didn't do because the game plan was a little different, but I think you want Jalen Hurts throwing the football. So I think you do what you do to make sure that they're playing from behind, hopefully, and they have to throw the ball and kind of take Saquon out as much as you can. But I'm sure Spags will cook up something good. What would you do, Mike?
I think I'd just rely on my safeties and my linebackers to just tackle well. I think that's all it is. I think if the Chiefs tackle well, you beat Saquon Barkley. Again, we've faced off against Saquon Barkley before. We've played. I mean, I want to say we played the Giants last year or the year before, right? Like, it was just a few years ago we played the Giants. I can't find the exact date. I was trying to see what Saquon Barkley actually rushed against us.
Totally different situation, too, though. You have to consider that.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's a different situation because it's a different offensive line, a different scheme. So I believe running backs are about as good as their offensive line. And the Eagles have a pretty good offensive line. I mean, they're just pretty good across the board. Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson are back. Jordan Mailata. I mean, you've got names, Lane Johnson, all the way across the board. I think Mekhi Becton's even playing now. He's playing guard for him. So they got a good offensive line. Don't get me wrong. They set people up well because you have to respect A.J. Brown over the top of you. Devontae Smith isn't a scrub. They went out and grabbed Jahan Dotson. He's good. Right. So, I mean, they've got a dynamic offense and a lot of playmakers that you have to respect. So I believe it's just you almost let Saquon Barkley get his. Don't let him beat you, but you got to let him – you need to try to shut him down. You need to make Jalen Hurts pass the football. I'm just going to be as blunt as I can.
I think so. I think that's the key here. But in the playoffs, it seems like that Spags has kind of let up on the run D a little bit. If you notice, Joe Mixon, he outperformed himself the second time they played the Chiefs. The first time they held him to under 60 yards. And he looked like he was chunking off runs like crazy in the playoffs. And then you get back to James Cook. James Cook was running all over this Chiefs team. And I'm not sure why Buffalo went away from it, or if we could have eventually locked down and stopped it. But James Cook was having a day. So the way it looks, they're letting guys run the ball somewhat, but I think you just can't let up that big play. I think that's the thing. Like, the Eagles have done that to teams all year. Hell, you saw it in the first play of the Washington Commanders game, the NFC Championship. You just can't allow them to chunk off 60, 70-yard touchdowns. That's just – you're not going to win a game if you're doing that. It's just not going to happen. So I think that's definitely the focal point for the defense is to not let up the big play. Mike, the legend Peter Ortiz with 10 freaking gifted. Let's go, baby.
Let's go, baby.
Y'all put some legendaries in the chat for Peter. Freaking 10 gifted memberships. If you get those, thank him. You will have a chance to win a signed Jalen Watson jersey. We're doing our members-only live stream this week, and we're giving away a signed Jalen Watson jersey. He took time out of his super busy schedule to sign that jersey for you guys, and we're going to give it away to one of the members on this members-only live stream coming up this week. So make sure to cash in on that. And if you have not joined and you didn't get one of the free memberships, you can always go to join.allchiefedup.com and sign up yourself. It just starts at $5 a month. And we're going to try to start doing a lot more members-only content. I think we got some ideas on how to do that. So we definitely want to make it worth your while. But appreciate you, Peter. Appreciate you, my man. Thanks so much. Mike, we're going to the Super Bowl. We're not personally going, but the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl with a chance to make history. And it's wild to think that this season, this is kind of the culmination of it. A 15-2 season, one loss was absolutely given to the Broncos, so it's whatever. But just a crazy year. I guess back at the beginning of the year, would you have thought that the Chiefs would be in this position? 15-2, got the 1 seed, took care of business in the AFC, going to the Super Bowl. It's just crazy, man. Like, everybody talks about how hard it is to win back-to-back Super Bowls or how impossible it would be to three-peat. And the Chiefs are just defying all odds up to this point. I mean, it's insane. So why not keep it rolling? You know, why not? And why not keep the gifted memberships rolling? The train just keeps on chugging along. Pops is in the house with 5 gifted memberships. Let's go, old man. Let's go, old man. Y'all think Pops and Chaffee get one of those memberships. He's supposed to be working right now, and instead he's watching All Chiefed Up and handing out memberships. So shout out Pops. But yeah, Mike, what do you think about it, man? How you feeling? We got 2 whole weeks of getting ready to talk about this thing, and just kind of initial thoughts, I guess. Let's just end this one on that. What's your initial thoughts on the Super Bowl matchup? What do you think? You like the Chiefs' chances here?
I don't think a lot of America is acting like they're not going to watch the Super Bowl. We know at the end of the day they're all going to tune in. They're all going to tune in. They're
record numbers.
Yeah, they're going to be wearing green and crying about the refs. That's what they do. I think it's going to be a good game. The Eagles have been a good team all year. Like, they had certain games where they had a little bit of a letdown, but I mean, they lost to the Commanders. Commanders ended up having a good run. They lost to the Bucks at one point, and I mean, the Bucks actually were a playoff team when it was all said and done. So,
right,
they've been pretty solid all year. Their defense is stout. Their offense, they got a lot of playmakers. It's a solid football team. Like, you can't overlook them. But I do believe that their strength relies in their running game opening up their passing game, and so I do believe you need Jalen Hurts. That would be the one thing. Like, I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is a bad quarterback, but Jalen Hurts, his own receivers have been known to say that he don't throw accurately, he don't see the field properly, things like that.
Right.
I would just put the game in Jalen Hurts. You got to make Jalen Hurts beat you. If Jalen Hurts plays a great game, they've got a good chance to beat the Chiefs. If Jalen Hurts plays a mid game, you're going to need Saquon Barkley to have 180 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Right.
And I just don't know. I just don't think the Chiefs don't do that, man. The Chiefs are a tough team to blow out. The Chiefs are a tough team to just, you know, it's tough to get away from at least a close game with the Chiefs. And it seems like the Chiefs always win close games. And that's why people want to complain about officials and calls and this and that. But it's just because when it comes down to it, why do teams always win close games? Why do teams win anyway? Because they make less mistakes. They're less penalized. And it's not because you're getting calls throughout history. That means every team that's ever won just got favored by the officials. No, it means you were more disciplined and you're just a good team. We've lost sight of that somewhere. The Chiefs don't get as many penalties as everybody else because they're more disciplined.
Andy Reid's always had very disciplined teams. So.
Right. So now it's a problem, though. Now it's a problem. It's wild.
Hey,
but
deal with it.
It's going to be fun.
It's that Chiefs derangement syndrome, baby.
Yeah.
It's that Chiefs derangement syndrome. Yeah, I'm not trying to sell the Eagles short. I think they're a very good team. Mike, I called them to go to the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year. And I stuck with it because they to me looked like the strongest team in the NFC. I thought that the Lions, as much as people were hanging on their nuts all year, I just thought that they would blow it. And that's exactly what they did. I think the Eagles are the best team in the NFC. So the Chiefs got the biggest test they can get in the Super Bowl. But I do think that they rely, and a lot of their success hinges on Saquon Barkley almost to a fault. So, I mean, I think there's definitely some weakness to exploit if you can make it happen. But it all comes down to execution. You can have whatever game plans you want. You can have the greatest game plans in the world, but if you don't execute, then it doesn't matter. So, I think initially I like the matchup. I think the Chiefs should be favored in this one. I think they're the better team, but there's definitely work to do. There's a lot of work to do. You got to wrap it up, man. I mean, one more game, baby.
I do believe this was the 2 best teams in football when it was all said and done.
Absolutely.
So people want to cry about the matchup or whatever, cool. But these are the 2 best teams. The best team out of the AFC, best team out of the NFC, and they proved it again in the playoffs. In playoff scenarios, win or go home. These are the 2 teams that pulled it together and won. So it's a good one. It's going to be fun. We'll break it down a little bit more as it goes on and different things. I think initially, though, I think a lot of it comes down to how our offensive line can contain their defensive line. I think Jalen Carter and their defensive line are really good. Mm-hmm. And then are they going to be able to put a stop on Chris Jones? Chris Jones shows up in big games too. Like, we don't got a scrub over here. So he's better than Jalen Carter when it's all said and done because of the career and everything. So we've got just as good of a defensive line as they do, but that, I think, is the thing, is offense versus defensive line. Win in the trenches, that's where it always starts. That's where,
of course,
you have to get it going.
Absolutely. We appreciate you guys being here. Shout out to everybody for hanging out with us this morning. Chiefs Kingdom, let's freaking go, baby. Chasing that 3-peat. Just one more game to go. Enjoy these next 2 weeks. We'll have a lot of coverage on the Super Bowl, a lot more analysis. We'll deep dive into it, I'm sure. So hang out with us as much as you can. Hit that like button for us if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You guys are awesome. Shout out BetUS, Manta Sleep, and Crypto.com for powering this live stream and making it a good one. We'll catch you guys next time. Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
There goes a sight from my soul.